Hi guys, my name is Dan and today I want to share with you 5 things that you can change to make the most of your money. So the things that I'm going to mention today are things that I have changed in my life over the past couple of years now that have really helped me take myself from a place of debt to a place of being able to make regular monthly savings. So the first point I want to make is to change to a cheaper supermarket. Now for most people, food shopping is the third biggest expense after housing and transportation costs on a monthly budget. I switched from ASDA to ALDI going back about a couple of years ago now, and I have to say I've regularly been seeing through these past couple of years about 30% saving week on week. Now there are some ads that claim you can save 40% on against your weekly shop in comparison to Asda or Tesco, which I do think it is possible, but you need to shop for the right deals at the right times in order to get that. The last point around that is the quality of food. To be honest, it hasn't been any worse off. It's actually been the same, if not better, on quite a few different items. Certainly looking at like the fruit and veg and the organic items. I do think you actually get better value for money. So point number 2 is to assess all your expenses and see if you can either get cheaper deals elsewhere or if you can remove the expense altogether. Now I do mean really spend the time assessing each individual expense that you do have because sometimes they are hidden away. Now I split my expenses into sort of 2 categories mainly. One which is mandatory, or what I like to consider mandatory expenses, and the second one is optional expenses. Now, mandatory expenses to me are the expenses that are like your rent, your mortgage if you own a house, or car finance. And these are the things that are typically a little bit harder to try and make any sort of savings on without making some significant major changes in your life. But nonetheless, it is possible through like remortgaging. Certainly at the moment, I think there are lower interest rates available. Looking at obviously changing the property that you live in if you are renting. Again, it's not an easy one to do, but it is an option nonetheless. And then looking more at the optional expense side of it, I'm looking more at things like gym memberships, subscription services, so Amazon, Netflix, Spotify, and really looking at what expenses you can either condense down to one. So for example, I used to use Netflix and Amazon Prime, and now I only just use Netflix. So I'm saving against the costing that I was previously paying for Amazon Prime. And also other things like buying lunch when you're out at work or on the go, and really change to sort of bringing these things from home. So the third point that I want to make is to pay off credit cards and overdrafts and any form of sort of consumer debt prior to having any sort of savings or putting any money aside in savings. Now, admittedly, this seems like a common sense idea, but for quite a few people, they have savings and are making regular contributions towards those savings on a weekly or monthly basis, whilst at the same time still having credit card debt or an overdraft to pay off. And the key point around this really is the interest rates on the credit card or the overdraft are usually a lot higher on those services than they are on what you get out of your bank account. So mathematically speaking, you usually are losing a lot of money by just having that money sat in a savings account rather than having that paid off against your credit card. So the fourth point would be to switch from monthly billing to annual billing. Now the key point around this is that products or services that you pay for on a monthly basis usually involve a third-party financer or creditor, and their services of enabling you to pay for it monthly therefore come at a premium. A great example of this would be car insurance. So for myself, I switched from paying annually. A great example of this would be car insurance. So for myself, I switched from paying monthly to paying annually. And I went within that same year of insurance from paying about £700 a month in total, or what would have been over the 12-month period, to paying about £500. Other services I pay for, like Office 365 as an example, paying for that one annually versus paying for that monthly, I think saved in the region of about £20. So really look at individual expenses that you do pay for. It's slightly off course, but one that most people have in some shape or form, and will go through a renewal process every two years or 1 year nowadays, is mobile phones, and looking to pay for mobile phones specifically up front. You can sort of expect to regularly save about £200 to £300 across the life of the contract. Alright guys, so the fifth and final point that I wanted to make today was to change how much you use your vehicle where possible. So obviously this only applies to those that have vehicles. But like I said right back at the start of this video, the second biggest expense for most people is transportation costs on a monthly budget. So some of the changes I've made over the past couple of years for myself have been to live share with a couple of good guys from work. I certainly try and walk and cycle where I can, locally speaking, and avoid the usage of the vehicle. And that's great because it not only saves obviously the cost of the fuel itself, but it saves the wear and tear on the vehicle in terms of engine parts, in terms of tyres, and also obviously there's the environmental factor to consider as well. And so this final point might actually be something that happens more to people rather than it being a conscious decision of their own. Certainly at the moment, with what's going on around us, there's a lot of employers asking people to work from home rather than coming in to and from work every day. If you've got a job that you think has the potential to work from home and you're currently not being asked to, then as a suggestion, perhaps why not even contact your employer and see if they can set you up to work from home. Alright guys, so thanks for watching today's video. I'm going to list all the points in the description below. I'll try and pad them out with some more suggestions as well of what we could do with each of the points that I've made today. And equally, if you guys have got any suggestions or other ways of how to save money, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to read through them and get some more ideas myself, and I'm sure other people would too. If you found this content useful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more.